Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be telling you how to add a reflection onto Managebac. Now you're going to hear me say you need to reflect all the time. You're going to hear your advisor say that to you. You're going to hear so many other teachers say that to you as long as you're working on Managebac for CAS and for your service hours. Now the first thing that I want you to do is to log on to your account as usual, and you should be able to land on this page as always. This is the entry page, this is the dashboard page. By the way, you can go to settings and change that. If you want to always land on the CAS page, you can do that. But no matter, just go to IB Manager again and then click on CAS. Okay, so now since the last video where I showed you how to add a CAS experience, you can now see that my advisor has now approved my experience. They've given me a thumbs up, whereas before it was a clock, a yellow clock. Now it is a blue thumbs up, which means that they have read my work and they have approved it. Okay. Now, if you don't know who your advisor is, the advisor is usually on the right-hand side of the page. In this case, I've set myself as my own advisor. However, every single one of you may have a different advisor. Please make sure you know who that person is. It'll be on the right-hand side of the page. If your page is too small, then the advisor should be found at the bottom. Okay, so if your screen is wide, all right, you should be able to see everything on the right-hand side, but if your screen is narrow, like if you're using your phone, for instance, it should be found, everything that was on the right should be found at the bottom. Okay, so let's get back to the page here. Now, you may have noticed that there's something at the bottom of the main page called Notes and Interviews. This is a place for you to write down notes, and your advisor will be able to read them. This is a place where your advisor will also write notes for you and record the interviews they have with you as well. All right, now let's go back to our experience here, the experience that we entered before, so that we can add a reflection. But before we do so, I'm just reminding you one last time, if you need to add a new experience, say you've signed up for a new activity, say going to the gym or something, then you click on Add Experience and you repeat the process of the last video. All right, so let's go back to the experience that we entered last time. So I'm going to click on this one again. All right, now that I'm in here, okay, I am going to, so here's the elementary sports day. Now I need to reflect my advisor, ensemble, my CAS coordinator, whoever is asking me to reflect. Now there's two ways that you can do that, okay. So you can either click on the Reflections and Evidence tab at the top. It's right here. So this is the summary, and this is the Reflection and Evidence tab. So you can click on that, and it'll take you to the Reflections page. And on the top right-hand side, can you guys see that? Top right-hand side, it says Add New Reflection and Evidence, okay? But you can also, from the main summary page, you will also find that it's right here as well. Okay, so from the main page, on the top right hand side again, you can click on Add Reflection and Evidence. This is to edit the experience, and this is to delete it. But again, let's go and click at this one and see what we get. Now, once I click on it, this is what I get on the page. So I'm going to increase the size a little bit so everybody can see. Okay, I'm also going to minimize this one. We don't need that. All right. Now, as you can see, you can add several types of reflections. So you can either add a journal entry, which means you're going to type stuff. You can add a website. Okay. You can add a video. You can add photos. Now this one we use a lot. And you can add files if it's a document that you need to add. Okay. So let's get back to the first one. Okay, that's usually the one that we use all the time because you will always be required to give me a written reflection of what you've done. Now you may have noticed that the outcomes that I've clicked before are there. It would be wise for you to click them while you are reflecting so that you can show me that you've actually done these things. Now, honestly, you have to be honest here. So say, for instance, that you felt like you had not initiated this CAS experience, then you can just unclick that, and maybe you can go back and edit it and you remove it from the outcomes from the beginning. Okay. Now, I'm going to type here whatever it is that I'm going to type. Okay. However, before I click on add this entry or add this new entry, please refer to the questions at the bottom. Now, these are very important questions. These will guide you towards a proper written reflection. All right. Now, for each experience, you will want to show evidence of planning, organization, effort and commitment, active reflection, and personal development and achievement. So these are some really broad guidelines, but to break things down for you a little bit, here are some very specific questions that would help you write down a much better reflection, okay? What did you perceive from this experience? Like, what did you learn? What did you notice? Okay. How did it feel? Okay. What did you think about it? Now, if you like it, say you like it. If you don't like it, say you don't like it. Say you're never going to do this again. Say you didn't learn anything. But say what happened. Say how you feel and be honest about it. Okay. Now, what did this mean to you? Have you learned anything from this? Okay. What value does this add to your life? Or if it adds any value at all. Okay. So these are some sample reflection questions, but you will be required to write some proper reflections so that we can sort of get a little bit of a feel about what you've done in this experience, okay? But if you just tell me, I went to the sports day and helped kids around, say, for instance, then frankly speaking, I'm going to ask you to go back and redo it once again. So once you've written what you need to be writing, so this is just something brief, just for demonstrating, then you click on Add New Entry here at the bottom. So let's click on that. Okay. And you'll notice that as soon as I've done that, I will see on the summary, let's go back to the summary, okay, I should be able to see, as your CAS coordinator, I'll be able to see that you've reflected, you've given me one reflection, okay? Now, it's really important for you to add written reflections, proper ones, very important to add photographs, please, and you've seen how to do that, and any other documents that you need to add, please do so as well. Videos are always welcome as well. All right, now there's one more thing that I want to show you on this page before I move on, and that is, if you go down to the bottom of the page, you will have noticed that your advisor, in this case myself, has left you a comment about your work. Hello, I'd like for you to improve on your description and begin to add reflections and evidence to your experience. Okay, so this is a really good way to communicate through Managebac, and please always look at the bottom of these pages because we are always sending you comments about your work here, so please make sure you always check that. All right. So that was today's lesson about how to add a reflection on Managebac. Once you've done that, you can go back to the main CAS worksheet, and this is your main page again. Okay. Now you might have seen, because I've reflected, the yellow tabs have turned green, and there was one that I did not click, and that's why it's still yellow. So make sure you do that as well. Another thing that you'll find here on the main page is that this one shows you like sort of a summary of your outcomes, but it can also show you hours, okay, how much hours you've done. It will show you your timeline and so on, okay. So this is quite important for me to look at as well as your advisors. So make sure you're looking at all of these always at the same time. One last thing is that if you need to add a document, you can click on this tab here as well. Okay, so that was today's lesson about how to add a reflection and photographs and evidence of your work in general. All right, good luck, guys.